All right. So this week I wanted to talk about why are you broke? We're going to talk about mindset of money and why you are actually not as wealthy as you want to be. Talk about that this week on episode 150 of The Relaxed Male. This is The Relaxed Male, a show that comes to you each week helping men to remove the nice guy from their life so they can actually live their life on their terms. Join the host, certified coach Brian Goodwin, as he helps men step out of their heads and become free from the thoughts that bind them. Hey man, hello and welcome to The Relaxed Male. All right, this week we're going to be talking about why you were broke. But before we jump into that, I want to tell the new guys who are listening, hello, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for listening. And I'm tickled pink to have you show up and listen and come to understand why it is you're actually broke. Now, the Relaxed Male is typically a show where we're talking about why men's thoughts get them into so much trouble. That's why the nice guy has such a hard time, because they think that one thing's going to happen and completely throw out the idea that everybody else has got their own operating manual. They have their own thoughts. They have their own individual person, and that they think they can actually control people because they have this line of thinking that, you know, they have to make a person happy for them to feel validated, and it doesn't work. And so you end up having a nice guy who ends up being a jerk. And so that's why nice guys aren't very nice. They try different tactics, and those tactics don't work. Then the claws come out, and you all of a sudden don't have a very nice guy. But today I wanted to talk about why you are broke. Why do you not have as much money in the bank account as you would really like? Why do you not have the funds? Why do you not have the success that you're actually after? Maybe you want to make, $1 million in a year, yet, you're barely clipping 50,000. Why can, that $1 million seems like it's an impossible amount. Why can you not make $1 million? You've heard everybody talk about, laws of attraction. Well, I've been trying to attract $1 million a year. Well, trying to attract and trying to earn $1 million a year is two different things. And you actually, part of the equation on the law of attraction is you have to have $1 million a year worth of thought work in effect so that you can actually start earning $1 million a year. If you're sitting around thinking, having a scarcity mindset, you're going to end up not being able to earn $1 million, because $1 million is an abundant mindset, while thinking that you don't have enough money to pay this week's bills is a completely different mindset that cancels that thought, the $1 million mindset out. So why are you broke? Well, you're broke because of your thoughts. If I wanted to not bury the lead, it's because of your thoughts and what you think of money. And it baffles a lot of people, because you see so many different people with different degrees of wealth. Some are very rich. Some are Jeff Bezos rich, while others are destitute and they're homeless, and they don't have enough money to pay attention. And that's where a lot of people end up falling, is somewhere in between those two extremes. And you see people talking about the poor, and they often talk about, how we've got to figure out how to help the poor, help them, not be poor. And people want to go off and say that it's, capitalism's fault why these people are poor. And you've got all these rich people who are nice and rich and make enough money that they could give it to the poor, and the poor would just suddenly stop being poor. And they would. If we were to take all the rich people, all the billionaires' money, and we were divided out, and we just give it to everybody, no matter who it was. And let's just go in the United States, because believe it or not, even the poorest of the poor in the U.S., minus those who are actually destitute, homeless, and living on the streets And even they make quite a bit of money when they want to, and they are standing on the street corners. Those people are actually, we're still a part of if you remember back in, the Occupy Wall Street, when that little event was happening, they were talking about the evil 1%. The 1% controls all the money. They were complaining about themselves in all reality, because even the poorest person in the United States is part of the 1% wealthy of the whole world. There's some people who make, only 50 cents, a week or so. I don't know exactly how much the poorest nations make, but there's some that make vastly less than what the homeless guy standing on the street corner makes. And if you hear a bunch of noise and stuff in the background, just a little side note here, just know that it's Rain, mine and my wife's dog, but my son's also brought his dog, and my daughter's over in town also, and they brought their dog, and these three are just having the time of their life, and I've just got to record it, and so we're just going to have to roll with it. But yeah, so when it comes to money, it's a matter of perspective. A lot of people want to see money as it being the source of all evil. You've heard that misquoted Bible verse time and time again. Money is the root of all evil. No, money is the root of all kinds of evil. And those who chase money actually create suffering in their life. Those who are just out for money for the sake of money, that if they think they can hold on to this physical piece of paper, that that is the source of their happiness, they're not going to do it. They're going to suffer. They're going to have times in their life they're going to have a lot more suffering in their life than people who are actually wealthy. And that is the big rub that a lot of people have, especially people who want to excoriate capitalism, because they think capitalism is why there's rich people and there's poor people. And I hate to tell it, I've told it to them many times. I've gotten into many, many Twitter fights about this. The poor are poor because of the choices that they make. That is one of the things about capitalism. If they wanted to become stupid rich, guess what? All they would have to do is change how they're thinking of the world and change how they're thinking of money, and start actually providing a value to society, and society will pay them back with those little green certificates of appreciation. Yet many people, especially those who are homeless and things like that. Yeah, there's a lot of mental illnesses in there, and that's a completely side topic in itself. How do we handle the mentally ill homeless? Because your logic doesn't work on the truly mentally ill, not all the little mentally ill, disorders that the psychiatric organization likes to create. They come up with subdisorders for subdisorders that have subdisorders. And a lot of times those those have actually gotten out of hand. I mean, is there such thing as an anxiety disorder? Yeah. When a person is so riddled with anxiety that they cannot do anything, that can change the chemistry of the brain. Yes. But at the same time, you can change how you think about different circumstances, and you would fix a lot of the disorders. But we're not here to talk. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not anything like that. This is just what I have been able to observe in life. But when it comes to money, you will see those who are actually complaining about money and say that money is evil and money is capitalism is horrible. It's the people who don't want to actually try and don't want to actually have to do the actual work to be able to earn money, because we earn the money that we get. A lot of times we earn it because we provide a service to society, and society, as a means of repaying us, is how the universe in the law of attraction actually works. You actually have to apply. You actually have to pay a toll to be able to receive the money. That toll could be that you are serving people. You're providing something of value. If you're giving something away for free, you're giving it away for free and it's not of value. You're not going to get any money back from that. I am providing something for value. And so there's people who come by from time to time and they drop me some Satoshis when they do a boost. Didn't get any boosts this week, by the way. So we're not talking about boosts or not giving shout outs to the folks that actually did a boost. But when you have people who are complaining about what money is and when they are talking about how unfair the system is, it's because they tried something, didn't apply enough value to it to get the value in return that they wanted. So they didn't get the money back. And so they, instead of re-examining the faults that they have in their own lines of thinking, examining where they went wrong, they've gone off and abdicated their responsibility to being either it's capitalism's fault, it's some larger competitor's fault. When if they were really being creative about what they thought and didn't think and paid attention to those types of aspects, they would see that the smaller company is actually at a greater advantage than what the bigger companies, the richer companies have. The smaller company is a lot more agile. They can do things that give us polishing touch that a big company cannot do. A big company does what they can for the most amount of people, while the small companies can actually sit there and you could write out a handwritten thank you note to every person, very personalized. Hey, John, I appreciate you taking the time to purchase this super duper mega blanket. And as a means of saying thank you, here's is a note and some candy bar and some stickers. And you give them some little free, added bonuses in with your purchase. A big company can't do that. They could try, but it wouldn't be as personal because they do so much volume. But also if they want to make a change to something that they're doing, they have to take a very long time to be able to do that because they have, as anything, bigger it is, the more mass, the harder it is to be able to turn or change directions on something that has more mass. Same thing as with a small company. You can take a small company and you can zip and zag and you can do all sorts of things that the big company only wishes, and you can outshine the big company. If you're trying to fight a company, price on price, you're going to lose every time. You've got to figure out how to provide more value so that you can make more money. And so a lot of people look at money and wish that they had it. They wish that they didn't have to put in so much work. And it would be nice. Yeah. If you could just go, I would like to have $1 million. There's $1 million. It doesn't happen. You actually have to put something into the universe for it to be able to give you that $1 million. And the thing about money, the actual amount that you have in the bank, that's nothing but a circumstance. Right now, if you look in your bank account and you see that you've got, say, $1,200, you may look at that and go, well, there's the house payment. That's all I've got. And, I guess I'm not eating this week. All right. That's the fact that you have $1,200 is a circumstance. Why is it a circumstance? Because you see that amount. Maybe you look in your account and you see you only have $9.50. You're going, oh crap. I ain't going to get my house paid right now. I don't have the money for rent. What am I going to do? And you start having the thoughts concerning that $9.50 in your account. And you look at somebody who has, like, we would hear, my in-laws. My in-laws are in the law practice, And from time to time, you'd hear them talking about how the cost of the boat is eating them alive. They just don't have the money for the slip fees and yada, yada, yada. And how are we going to get the money together to be able to pay for this and have money for retirement and all these other worries? And, whenever I was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I hear them complain about that. And I was going, oh yeah, if only I had that, well, I don't know what it is, like 15,000, whatever, however much money they bring in a month, which is, a lot more than what I was making. I was like going, if I had brought that much money, if I had that much money in, I'd be doing a lot more different stuff. And you're right. I'd be doing a lot more different things than what they are with their money. But the fact that they have that much money and still have the same worries as what somebody with a little bit of money has shows that the money is nothing but a circumstance. Yeah, there may be a few zeros on the end of it, but at the same time, so do the bills. Money is a circumstance. What you think of that money is where the worry, the stress, the anxiety, the joy, whatever it is you have that you're thinking of comes from. Money doesn't buy happiness. You're right. Money is the amount of money that you have in your account does not bring you happiness. The thought of what you have about that money is where the happiness or the dread or the anxiety or the worry or the guilt or the, this, that, these, those, and the others. All the rest of that comes from the fact that you see you have $150 in your account. Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? You've got all your bills paid. You've got all the food that you need, and you've got $150 extra in your account. Hey, that'd be a good thing, isn't it? Or that $150, you still got $1,000 worth of bills to pay, and you've only got $150. That's where the issue comes into play. So again, it's all your thoughts create your results. So if you're wanting to have $1 million a year, you've got to really pay attention and change the thoughts that you have. And it's not just, oh, well, I'm going to have happy thoughts today. Great. Have happy thoughts. You're going to have a happy time. But what are you doing to actually earn that $1 million? That's where it comes into play. If you're looking down your nose at capitalism and then trying capitalism, guess what? It's not going to work. Look at all the major companies these days who are doing all the woke BS that they're doing. There is a phrase going around now that's go woke, go broke. Why? Because that is such a limiting mindset to have, that everybody is a victim of what, because, well, wokeism and all the critical race theories, the, critical trans theories, all these other critical theories that are going on all come from critical theory centered around communism. So it all is based under the scarcity of a resource. So yeah, you're going to the poor is going to stay poor under woke politics, because they stay victims. You can't be a victim and be a millionaire at the same time. If you're sitting there thinking everybody's out to get you, you're not going to make $1 million a year. You're going to have trouble making rent, much less worrying about how you're going to make $1 million this year. Millionaires, if you were to sit down and actually talk to millionaires, you would see their way of looking at finances, how they look at money. You sit down, you can find a millionaire. There's a bunch of millionaires you have no idea are around you. And a millionaire is somebody whose net worth is over $1 million. So that includes their house, their cars, what's in the bank account, what's in stocks and bonds, all the money that is actually theirs, money that they own in either physical assets or in liquid money. If that's over $1 million, go talk to those people. Ask them, hey man, can I go buy a cup of coffee? And you buy the cup of coffee Yeah, you have only 75 cents to rub banging around in your pocket, and you ask a millionaire out, pay for that coffee, because what you're doing, because you're fixing to get some value from him. It may only be the amount of value that's worth a cup of coffee, but if you pay attention, that cup of coffee worth of value is actually worth thousands in your book. You sit down and actually talk to a millionaire and ask him something along the lines of, if you lost everything that you in your life today, and all you had left was $1,000, what would you do to rebuild your fortune? See what they have to say about that. So money, like I said, is a circumstance. It is not a fact. It is a fact. It is not the thoughts that you are having about that particular amount. Money can buy you all sorts of stuff. It can also cause you a lot of worries. And that, again, is based upon what you're thinking around money. If you think you don't have any money available, then guess what you're not going to have? You're not going to have money available. If you tell yourself, hey, I'm not going to have enough money for this, your brain's going to go, okay, well, we can't have money for this. And it's going to start finding ways to spend any extra money that you happen to have. And I hope that's not really coming in that much. I bet you it is. So, yeah, it's Rain. She found her squeaky. She can't hear the squeak, but by God, she loves to chew on the squeaky. So, sorry guys, y'all gonna have to deal with a shark squeaking. So when you when you are having those thoughts about money and you look at what a person has and what a person doesn't have, know that it's about the thoughts. It's about the mindsets. A person with a scarcity mindset is not going to see the opportunities that lay in front of them. They're worried about what they don't have. Their fear is that they are losing their money. So anytime they may have to be able to invest in something, put some money towards a project that they want to do, if they don't have enough money and they're scarce with it, they're going to end up holding on to it. They're going to let that opportunity to make more money pass because they're too afraid that they're going to lose that $100 bill. They're giving up pennies, or they're giving up dollars because they're too busy looking for pennies. So why are people that are poor is because of their choice, which is what really sets a lot of people who think that I'm being, cold about the world's poor. You're telling me that they want to be poor? Yeah. It is more comfortable for them to be poor than to have to make the mental changes needed to be able to start making lots of money. And that, again, also sets people's hair on fire because they're like, have you ever tried being poor? Yeah. Damn it. I have been poor before. There was a time when I was struggling to make sure rent was paid. And so all I got to eat for the month was lettuce sandwiches. And if I had a little extra money, I might be able to buy some soy sauce so I could add some different flavor to my lettuce sandwiches. And it was a big thing and the reason why I lettuce sandwiches, because a head of lettuce was $1. A loaf of bread was 75 cents. I could get those and I could eat for a couple of weeks until next pay period, whenever I would have another $3 that I could go off and get a couple more items. And if I had some money left over, I could get some ramen noodles to go along with it. I could have a soup and sandwich. I walked everywhere. I didn't have a car. Yes, it does. It sucks being broke. But there are people who just accept the fact that they are broke instead of going, dude, this sucks. I don't want to be broke anymore, and start making changes and tough changes to get out of being broke. I did something I did not want to do growing up and being in that state, I decided, you know what? I'm going to do something I said I was never going to do. Was not going to join the military. I went into the Navy. I was going to start out. I tried doing the Air Force, but the Air Force didn't want me. So I started at the place where I figured it was going to be the easiest, and I was going to work my way down to where I was going to wind. If Air Force wasn't going to take me, I was going to do Navy. If Navy wouldn't take me, I was going to try Coast Guard. If Coast Guard wouldn't take me, then I was going to go to, I was going to go into the Army. If Army wouldn't take me, I was going to do the Marines. I was going to go from easiest, least likely to get shot to the most likely that I was going to get shot. Luckily, I got on a boat, so there was not much shooting going on. But that is the fact that I was willing to explore doing something that was out of my comfort zone. I didn't want people yelling at me. I didn't want people hollering and calling me scumbags and things like that and making the really stupid, well, where are you from? Well, I'm from Texas. Oh, there's only two things from Texas, steers and queers. I don't see any antlers above your horns over your head. It's like, all right, congratulations, dude. You saw Full Metal Jacket. All right. Yeah. Hoorah. I decided I had to get out of my comfort zone. And so because I was able to get out of my comfort zone, I was able to move myself up on a rung. I became a little more financially viable, so to speak. Doesn't mean I was making a whole lot of money, because I was only E3, and you're not making much money when you're a seaman in the Navy. Yes, laugh. Yes. The first three ranks of the Navy, you're a seaman. All right. You're just spooge. So now that we got all the chuckling over with, we'll continue. Scarcity mindset holds you back. It keeps you blind to all the opportunities. And a lot of people who are broke, a lot of people who are poor have a scarcity mindset. They are not going to try something because it's to them, they think it's too risky to spend $20 to buy some newspapers and start selling newspapers. Like I said, they are too busy looking for pennies. They miss the dollar bills. This is one reason why people with an abundant mindset, they are able to make more money, because they see that they have plenty of what they need right now. They know that they have all the money that they really need. They have all the money for everything they truly want. And so any extra is just a little extra icing on the cake. While when you have that abundant mindset, you actually are willing to look around. That's why people with abundant mindsets, they give away money. That's one reason why the universe gives back, is because when you give money, the universe, or God, depending on how you want to look at it, God gives you that back. All he's asking is for 10% on tithing, and 10% doesn't mean you have to give it to the church. 10% of tithing can be, spend 10% of your time helping the poor. 10% of your time being in Big Brothers, Big Sisters. 10% of your time doing other things, helping, working for Habitat for Humanity. You can give 10% of your income to a charity. You can give 10% of your income to something else. I like to walk around. I like to have, whenever I go and buy food, I buy 2 extra meals when I can. I'll buy 2 extra meals, because whenever I am at the end of the week, there's a particular corner that I stop at. There is always somebody standing on the corner with a sign saying anything will help. And so I give them some food. What they do with the food, I don't know. It's not my business anymore. I wanted to help, and that's how I help. From time to time, I'll see somebody sitting outside of a truck stop. I'll buy them a cup of coffee. Do I give them money? No, I could, but a lot of times, no. I buy something for them that they may need. Another thing that poor people have is that they think that they can't learn. It's called having a fixed mindset. The concept of a fixed mindset came from Carol Dweck's book called Mindset. And the fixed mindset is that you rely solely on your talents. So when you hit a particular barrier, you can't go any further. You've hit the limit of your talents. And most of the time people give up when they do that. The opposite of a fixed mindset is a growth mindset. And a person with a growth mindset actually is okay with learning. They're cool with getting their hands dirty and screwing up, failing time and time and time again, because failing is nothing bad. Yet because they see failure as being this horrible, terrible circumstance, when it's all actually just, sorry, I had to stop for a second, deal with the dogs. So anyhow, where was I? Talking about, growth mindset. And, so anyhow, we'll just continue there. Probably going to rehash some stuff that I was thinking. So anyhow, if you have a growth mindset, you take failure as being a good thing. That's a point where you learned something new. You tried something, it didn't work. And all right, sweet, awesome. A fixed mindset sees a failure as, oh, I'm not good enough. I can't do that now. While growth is like, sweet, awesome. I failed at that. We look at it, the circumstance, whatever that circumstance ended up being. You take a growth mindset person, they're going to look at a failure as being just, all right, that's a loss. Book. And let's mark that down on the loss. We got, you're going to have 100 losses for every win, but that win is going to be the bigger step. The losses are not a step back. They're a baby step forward. Baby step forward, baby step forward, baby step forward, baby step forward. Oh, we got a win. Look at that. We got a great, big, huge monster step forward, and a little step forward, little step forward, little step. And if you're able to have that type of mindset, and you can, when I say able, I only say able because you have to choose to have that mindset. If you catch yourself in a fixed mindset where you're relying on your talents and skills only, then you are not going to progress forward. While if you are in a growth mindset, you're going to go and you're going to, oh, damn it. And you're going to be upset about the failure, but it's not going to grip you and cause you to go, never mind. This just isn't going to work. I am a failure at this. I can't do this. Let's not even try it anymore and go on your own way. You have to be able to do stuff like that. You have to decide you're going to get uncomfortable. If you get uncomfortable about stuff, that is where the growth really starts to happen. And that's that right there. Being able to get uncomfortable is what keeps the poor people poor. Cause not the best situation in the world. I get that. And that's the argument a lot of people who I fight against on whether poor want to be poor or not comes from. Oh, so you think it's comfortable being broke and not being able to feed your kids and having to work 3 jobs and yada, yada, yada. For them, yeah. It is a lot more comfortable than having to change your habits, change who you're hanging around with. A lot of people who are broke and poor are living in a city that has, city where rent is $2,000 for a closet. Yeah, no wonder you're having a hard time making ends meet. It's because you're spending too much money on wanting to live in a place that you can't afford. Why did people catch so much heck from, in 2008 when they lost their houses? Because they were only able to afford a $50,000 house and they spent $200,000 on a house because somebody said, oh, well, you can afford a $200,000 house. Well, I'm sure at that time when I bought my house 15 years ago, I could have easily afforded, I could have easily gotten a $200,000 house. I could have gotten a McMansion just as easily as anybody else. Did I? No, I knew I did not want to have a $200,000 house. I wanted to try to go as nicely as I could with as cheaply as I could. And so I spent $60,000 on a house. My house payment is right now, it's $600, $625 a month. And y'all are going, wow, man, you know what I could do with 600 with my house payment being that cheap? Yeah. You can do a lot more than what I do. My cost of living is a lot cheaper. Oh, but you can't get paid $17 an hour for at places like that. You're right. But again, cost of living is cheaper. So the price of living is not going to be as high. And a lot of people discovered here recently in 2020 when COVID come running through here, they realized that the Wuhan flu is actually kind of a blessing because all of a sudden, you don't actually have to show up to work to be able to do work. You can actually just be on the internet and do everything that you need from the internet and have a completely different life and live a wonderful life. Provide the value and you get paid the value. So why are you poor? What uncomfortable situations do you not want to face? I don't want to have to leave. I'm going to have to leave. I'm going to have to go find a new job someplace else. Yeah. Well, it kind of sucks doing that, but considering that you might be able to live and, you ought to check and see what the cost of living is living 2 hours away from the city you want to be in. You might find that it's a lot cheaper. You might find it's a lot better. But the only way you're going to find out is by starting to look. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to stop doing what's not working because you don't want to change your habits. You're going to have to change your habits. You're going to have to change the way you're thinking. You're going to have to change a whole lot. And when you do, you're going to find that things become a lot easier. So if anything that I said in this particular episode just resonates with you on any level, share this out. Share this out with your friends, your family. Take a screenshot of it and share it up on the Instagram. If you know somebody in particular who this particular episode would help, hit that share button on your podcast app and send it as a text message. Let other guys know that there is a podcast out there that is helping men become better men. This podcast is helping men to become the men that they need society to be. It's helping these men become the men that they know is residing inside of them and is just becoming a source of frustration because they don't want to step out of the comfort zone. Step out of the comfort zone. It's nowhere near as uncomfortable as you think. As a matter of fact, on the other side, the water is incredible and is beautiful and is awesome. And you can't do it until you get out of that cold ice bath and start walking through that veil of discomfort. So guys, with that, thank y'all again for listening. Love y'all lots. Catch y'all next week. Till then, bye.